quote by Justin Perry, and he's a YouTuber from Your Creators. And I brought that up because I feel like I created my own misfortune in the whole DUI situation. And I don't want the video to be too long or where I'm talking too much, but I just want it to be a lesson for the listeners out there. Um, so one night, with me being stressed out, depressed, uh, feeling like, there's nowhere to turn. I just feel like the walls are closing in. And with that particular feeling, I, had a few shots. And then on top of that, I do take medications, which is not a good combination. So, anybody out there, please don't do that. That's the wrong thing to do. If you're taking any kind of prescription medications for depression or anxiety, my goal is to get off of those. But anyway, back to the story. When I went and I just figured, okay, I need to get out of the house. I need to get away from this situation before I lose my mind. And hop in the car and, to not really get too detailed, I hop in a car, then I hit somebody else's car. And I hit somebody else's car and they call the police. And the police come, they look at me and say, well, okay, she's intoxicated. We have to do something. And I knew the police officer, he was more rough than what I would have liked him to be, because I knew even in a tipsy state to keep my mouth shut. I knew that he would be the type to, where I would be a hashtag. I want to put it like that. So I just kept my mouth shut. I did I went and got the blood test done and as far as my blood alcohol level. And I complied. I went with the whole thing. And, something in my spirit was telling me this cop does not seem like a legit cop. Something seems off about him. And I was able to even see that in my tipsy state of mind. I was just able to feel it. Something just didn't feel right. So he made me get that done. I came back home. And I came back home and I was just feeling I'm just like, now I really feel like the walls is closing in because I'm just like now on top of my mother being sick and then me not feeling the best either. Now here comes a DUI. So I get the papers in the mail, explaining, the cop statement and when my court date is, the preliminary hearing. So I go the first time, I knew the cop wasn't going to show up because I knew something, again, in my spirit told me that something isn't right with him. So when that was said and done, they just said, well, come back because you're going to need a lawyer. So I was stressed out trying to find a lawyer. And then, my girlfriend told me about a lawyer that is really great, but she's $1,500. I'm like, where am I going to get $1,500 just out of the blue? So I'm like, $1,500. So I called the lady and I asked her, is there any way that we can work out something where I don't pay her full on? And I knew deep down, lawyers, they want their money up front. So with that being said, it was just like, I was just praying. I was just putting it in God's hands. I'm just like, whatever's meant to be, whatever lesson I need to learn, I'm going to learn it through you. So I'm just going to put it in your hands, put my hands up and go along with the flow. And when I went to when I went to the hearing, again, I'm not even going to tell you, like because I missed the first hearing because I was at chemo with my mother. So I'm with chemo there, and I actually missed the hearing that they had postponed me for. So I missed that hearing, and then that's when they come knocking at the door, or they just rammed in my room and arrested me. And I was calm still, and I'm sitting in the holding part, like the holding cells in the back, and again the judge tells me, it's okay, but next time get a lawyer and you better be here. So when I finally do get there, my mother and my dad, he came with me. And we get there, I'm full of nerves. I'm already a nervous kind of person, and I hate to say that, but I'm full of, anxiety from head to toe. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I have no lawyer. He wanted me to get a lawyer. So I walk in there, and when I walk in there, it is completely, he told me, he said, you know what? He said, the cop that arrested you, no longer works here. He didn't get into detail, but I could just tell by his facial expression that something was up with the cop, that he's probably in jail. He's probably in jail because he's been put up for a lot of under investigation. So he was just like, you know what? He said, you're lucky. He said, we're going to throw this case out. He said, but I'm an Uber driver. He did say that. He said, I'm an Uber driver. And he said, I don't want to ever, come across this where, you were in a situation and you're under the influence and behind the wheel. And I just told him, I said, that's never going to happen again. And he literally, when he put those papers aside, my heart just dropped, but in a good way. I'm like, wow, like everything. And automatically, I just, like a big smile came on my face. I'm like, and I'm looking at the prosecutors in there. I'm looking at the police officers. I'm just smiling at everyone. I'm like, thank you. And and when I left, it was it was a surreal feeling. And that's where I know I'm just like, God has given me so many chances. So that whole DUI, I could have had, what is it? They have 3 tiers with DUIs. I mean, you can have a section 38002A2, which is like a upgraded or ungraded misdemeanor, where you get 6 months probation, $300 fine, and you have to take like an ARD class, I think, and you have like a maybe 6 months license suspension, depending on what your blood alcohol level is. So you guys, just that's a whole lesson within itself, where God has given me another chance. The universe, the ancestors, everyone was with me on this, and I'm very thankful. And I just feel abundant. I'm just like, it could have went left real quick, but it didn't. I don't have to worry about fines. I don't have to worry about my license being suspended. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I have to do my affirmations and just be in the flow of God, and feel my goddess self. You know what I'm saying? So, I listen to people like Louise Hayes, like Justin Perry, Reverend Ike, Dr. Phil Valentine, Joe Dispenza, Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, and this new guy, he's called Flight Boss. And these people just talk about, like, as far as like creating your own reality. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole metaphysical thing. And if you guys can get into that, and just being as prosperous as you can, getting into affirmations, and just knowing that, when you get up, just say, my day is going to be good. Nothing can get in the way of me having a great day. And just keep repeating that to yourself every single day, every day. So every day that you're here, God is giving you another chance. So please be vigilant, and be mindful, and just when you know better, you do better. And I just want everyone to do better. Everyone could do better. And if you don't know something, study on it, and just continue to grow from there. We're all working progresses. We all want to grow. We all want to just be the best that we can be. And again, I'm thankful. So you guys, don't drink and don't get behind the wheel. Take this Ubers, this Lyfts, and you'll be good. So I thank you all for listening, and you have a good evening, good night, a good everything, and just be prosperous and abundant, and happy, and walk in your purpose, and walk in your journey, and love every bit of it. Peace.
Here and there, but you also have a very short time. So, I want somehow to get to the essence in order for the audience to have all the benefit they can from this short interview. So my first question is how can we create our life? How can we become a creators and getting out of the social hypnosis that we are in, getting out of the matrix?
Hmm. Well, I think that if you look at just the scientific model of how we are structured, that by the time we're 35 years old, we've done so many things, so many times, that it becomes an unconscious habit. And 95% of who we are is really unconscious thoughts, automatic habits, emotional reactions, beliefs, perceptions, attitudes that function pretty much behind the scenes of our awareness. So the process of becoming conscious of what you're unconscious about yourself begins the process of change. So how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So if you wanted to create a new personal reality, you'd have to change your personality, which means you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. Become aware of your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And then look at the emotions that you've experienced that keep you anchored to the past. And really look at them and decide, do these emotions really belong in my future? So when you begin to think differently, when you begin to act differently, when you begin to feel differently, your life is going to change. So most people like to wait for a reason to change, like a crisis or a trauma or a diagnosis from some disease. Now all of a sudden, they realize that they can't go on living the same life any longer. They have to change something about themselves. So I think that my message is, why wait for that trauma? That when you teach people that they can begin to create a better life for themselves and even improve their health, and give them the tools on how to do it, it becomes more effective for everybody. Now, here's the key, is that we are already wired to do this. We're always in the process of creation if we're truly relaxed and beginning to think about what we want for ourselves and our lives. When we're living in stress, when we're living in survival, then it's not a time to create. So getting people out of those survival states and into more creative states allows them to do what we're innately wired to do.